Hello. Today we are going to try the solo mode for Call to the Adventure, the Stormlight Archive. The Stormlight Archive is a series of books written by Brandon Sanderson, a very famous fantasy writer. Call to the Adventure is a game that already existed. This one is themed around the Stormlight Archive series and with a few different rules. So today we are going to try out the solo mode. In the solo mode, you are not trying to make points. I mean, you can use it as a scoring system, but your main goal is to save the world from odium. So odium is always the enemy you're trying to face, and you have different challenges to take on when you play in solo mode. Today, I opted to use the recommended starting scenario, Radiant United. So I will assume you already know most of the rules for Call to Adventure, and I'll just explain some solo specific rules. What we'll do is we'll play a full game, getting our 12 cards here, and then we'll have to face odium. And odium is a challenge that has difficult 9, and additionally, for each player in solo mode that's either 1 or 0, who is in the dark side, he'll have +1 challenge. So to start the game, you place odium and you place 5 experience tokens on him. To win the game, you have to, at the end of the game, once you are done with your 12 cards, use your 2 best runes to try to defeat him. You have to defeat him in order to win, and after you defeat him, he must have none of these experience tokens left. Throughout the game, you will be able to remove tokens, or under certain conditions, you'll have to add tokens, and at the end of the game, suppose the difficulty was 9, like we talked about. For each number that you go over 9, you will take one of these outs. So you have 1 chance to defeat him. And let's see what are our conditions to either add tokens or remove tokens from odium. 5 is the number of tokens that you put in the normal mode. You can make it harder or easier by either adding or removing. So at the beginning of the game, each player must choose a Radiant Destiny. I already sorted the Destiny cards by Radiant symbols, so for sure I'll get a Radiant Destiny. Whenever a player gains a Darkness or fails a challenge, odium gets an experience token, meaning makes the game harder for us to win. Whenever a hero gains Light, or whenever a Radiant Path is added to the hero story, odium loses 1 experience token, so good for us. Whenever a rune is cast that shows the card symbol, we need to play a card from the odium deck. This is a deck of 6 cards that we pre-assembled at the beginning of the game. All heroes must face odium at the end of the game. If any heroes fails that challenge, odium wins, or if he still has experience left at the end of the game, he also wins. Alright, so let's take a look at our origin. So we could either be a merchant or a peasant. So the merchant has the intelligence and charisma starting, while the peasant has the strength and charisma. This one will give us more experience tokens, and this one will help us with certain paths and make other paths harder for us. Normally, I like to base my origin on my destiny. And what are our options? We can either be the Windrunner or the Edge Dancer. If we have 3 Radiant symbols, this is a symbol that only appears on the Stormlight Archive version of Call to Adventure. You already have 1 if this is your destiny. If you have 3, when you face a challenge, gain +1 for each, I believe this is Tragedy or Arcane in your story. I'm a bit sad that they don't provide you with an easy reference for what these symbols mean. And like the runes themselves, these symbols are only mentioned in the rulebook. So this is actually the divinity symbol. So you get +1, so it helps you make divinity challenges. At the end of the game, you gain points, but again, we don't care about points. The Edge Dancer, if you have 4 Radiant symbols, once per turn, when you would fail a Radiant Path, you may reattempt it. That could be good because odium is a Radiant Path. Which one do we take based on what we have here? either of those can work, but actually it seems like the peasant will help us more. Well, it only helps get points and we don't really care about that. So let's try something like that. We'll have Edge Dancer as our destiny. We'll be Merchant from Origin. And let's take a look at what our motivation is. Either Corrupted by Odium, which thematically is very bad, and Consumed by Hatred. So 2, which really challenges in beating Odium. Well, let's go with the worst of 2 evils, because this one would increase our chances of getting into the dark side, which we don't want. So we'll use Corrupted by Odium. Whenever we use an anti-hero card, we gain 1 experience. Alright, so now I'll reveal the first era cards. Alright, this is actually a very good example of what we have, how the game works. So we have the 3 types of cards. The first one is a trait. This card normally don't have any challenges for you to face. You just pick them. Sometimes they have a rule here, which either gives you bonus, like in this case, it gives you 1 experience when you get it, or it gives you a restriction. Like, for example, you can only get this if you have 2 strength or something like that. So that's a trait. This is a challenge. Now, challenges always have 2 paths. So in this case, we could either experience the past or aid the radiance. So this would get us a radiant symbol, which would be very helpful. And the runes that you can use to your advantage in this case are the Wisdom and Constitution. And then you have an ally. The thing with the allies is they don't belong to them. They don't stay in the market for themselves. You need to add it to a challenge. So I'll have to choose whether to add it to this challenge or that challenge. The thing with adding an ally is they give you bonuses, but they also make the challenge harder. So you need to consider whether you want to take them or not. So let's see where I'll put this based on my abilities. I already start with 1 intelligence and 1 charisma. And in the first round, I'll either want that one or that one. Well, I might not try to go for the experience the past or aid the radiance, so I'll put the ally there because right now I'm not very strong and I don't want to increase my chances of failing because that will make Odium stronger, as we saw here. Whenever a hero fails a challenge, Odium gains 1 experience. So I'll put that there, and now we need to draw a replacement card. Alright, understand new cultures or secure a trade deal. So whenever you choose a card to take on, you'll need to choose a path. So let's say we would choose this card. So this difficulty is 4 if we go for the top one, and in this case 4 + 1, 5 if you decide to go for the bottom one. You always have access to the basic runes, which either give you 1 or nothing. And you get to roll 1 extra rune for each of these symbols that you have. So in my case, as you can see here, I already have 1 intelligence, so I would be able to add 1 intelligence to my roll. This either gives me 1 or 2. And I might try that. I would love to go for the Radiant path, but getting 5 with these runes will be very, very hard. I start the game with 3 experience. That might work in my favor. And I start also with a hero card that I had to place outside because I don't have enough space. Play this as any hero attempts a challenge. They gain 1 for each Radiant icon that they have. We have none yet, so let's put it face down. Well, let's try to get some more intelligence. It won't help us defeat Odium, but it's one of the few things that I'm confident we might be able to do. You can also spend experience to get one of these runes. So that's a dark rune. It either has a 1 or a 2 always, so they are powerful. But if you roll this icon, you will go down on the hero anti-hero track. And if you are a anti-hero, remember Odium is harder to beat. But it might be worth the trouble. The thing is, you cannot use dark runes for the Radiant pass. So I will not take it, or will I take it? I need the 4, it's still quite hard to get it. So I'll pay the 1 experience to get the Dark Rune, and I will try to Visions of Shademar, Glimpse another realm. Alright, so I'm rolling them. Alright, so I have 4 with it, which is enough, but as we saw in the Radiance Unite challenge, I got this symbol. So this does 2 things. It gives me 1 card, so the Honor Blade, choose any hero, they may gain 1 experience or use the power of the revealed destiny as if they had enough Radiant icons to activate it, and it allows Odium to play this card, so the first card of their deck. Play this during the challenge, add a Dark Rune to the attempt. So now I'll have to roll a new rune, and I will have to go twice down. Oof. Since I went twice into the darkness side, I have to give 2 experience to Odium. That was tough, but I didn't have a way of cancelling that, so that's what we have. But now, I am more intelligent according to the cards. Let's see. Ooh, an Ardent might make me go up in the hero-anti-hero track, which could be helpful. Alright. And that's good for us, because also going up in the light track will also remove experience from Odium, and since there is still no card that I'm quite confident that I would be able to get, I'll just take the Ardent. When you gain this trait, gain 1 light and choose another hero to gain 1 light, so I'm the only one. I get that, and that means I can remove 1 experience from Odium. Alright, Slave. When you gain this, gain either 2 experience if you failed Strength or Dexterity challenge in the previous turn, which we did not. So now let's see what I have. I have 1 Wisdom, 2 Intelligence, and 1 Charisma. This one will be very hard. I would really like to get Radiant icons, but I don't feel comfortable with the cards I have. One thing I could do, I could spend 1 of these tokens to get rid of 1 of these cards and get a new one. And then I would either be able to try that card or another one of the existing ones. The thing is, I already have 2 cards here. When I get the 3rd, I will go to Era 2, so I'm not very focused on this row. So I'll probably become stronger, because like I told you, you want to have 2 runes that you want to be very strong at the end of the game, because that's what you'll use to try to defeat Odium. So let's see, I can understand a new culture or secure a trade deal. I already have 1 of each of these icons. So I'll go the easy route that doesn't give me a card. No, I'll go the hard route, because I want to use these cards to my advantage. So I have the 3 basic runes. Then I can take runes for Wisdom and Charisma. So 1 Charisma, 1 Wisdom. And my target is to get 4 out of these runes. Oops, wrong rune. Right, so this symbol counts 2, this symbol counts 1. I have 5, but I need to get a card and play a card for him. I have 2 hero cards, and right now I'm in the spot where I can use hero or anti-hero, and I'm gonna opt to take an anti-hero cards, because those will also give me 1 experience if I use them. And I need to play 1 card from the Odium deck. Play this as any hero attempts a challenge. Until the end of the turn, that hero has no Radiant icons. Okay, so nothing changes, good for me. So, with 5, I managed to complete the secure a trade deal. I get 1 hero card. Play this before any hero attempts a challenge, add 1 to the attempt. If the challenge holds an ally, add +3. That would have been good for this. The thing is, now I already have 3 cards on my origin column, in addition to the starting one, which means I go to phase 2. And when I go to phase 2, I can no longer get cards from phase 1. So all of these cards will be gone. If other players were playing, they could still take them, assuming they were in phase 1. But in solo mode, we just go to phase 2. Let's see what we have. Quite some traits. So we have Bodyguard. You may only gain this straight if you have Justice or spend 1 experience token. In the last round I rolled one of these Charisma runes. It doesn't matter, I was confusing the power, sorry about that. So if you have Justice or spend 1 experience, you may force 1 hero to choose and discard an anti-hero card, not very beneficial. The Night Watcher's boon. If we get this, we would get 1 of each card. You may only gain this trait if you spend 2 experience or sacrifice an ally. We have none, but in the next turn we'll get +4 to any attempt. That's actually quite good. Then we have the Gemstone Vault, Infiltrate the Vault, which would give us this dexterity and the anti-hero card. Or Stop a Thief, which would give us Radiant and would go even further into our intelligence power, which would be quite helpful. I'll try that, maybe even using the Night Watcher's boon, let's see. And then we have the Plateau Battle. We can lead the Plateau Battle, get more Charisma, which wouldn't be bad, or try to win the Gem Heart. So let's see what we have. We have the 3 basic runes. If we go for this one, that would allow us to roll 2 more runes, which is an automatic 2 success, but we would still need 5 if we want the bottom one, as we have no dexterity. Would one of these cards help us? Choose any hero. For each Dark Pass in the story, they gain Radiant until the end of the turn. Having 2 Radiant is not that helpful. It's helpful when in combination with this card. Let's see. If I get this, that would be really good. And I think this would be a waste to combo for that. So I'm gonna add this card that says play this before any hero attempts a challenge, add +1 to the attempt. So this attempt needs 4 and 5 because I want to stop a thief. So with this extra one, I need to roll 4 in the runes that I have. 5 runes, 3 basic, 2 intelligence. Let's try my luck. Oh, that was perfect. Look at that. 7. That means I won this easily. Radiant Icon, which means Odium loses some of its power. Great for us. Oops. And I put this card here. Now I have already 3 intelligence symbols. That's the maximum you can roll. You can get more. There's no restriction on that. But the maximum number of runes that you can roll for a particular attribute is 3. So I'm capped out there, so I would try to get other icons if possible. I'll keep this card as used over here. Some effects might influence that. And I play a replacement card. Ooh, a Squire, Radiant. An easy way to get Radiant. Once per turn, if you have... it's an ally, so I need to play it somewhere else. Well, and I don't really have an option. It will go here. This would be a really good card to get, because if you have 4 Radiant, which we are trying to go for Radiant, you get +1 and Radiant Pass, and that's an Odium path. It would really help us. However, the Plateau Assault is not a card that I'm confident I could get. Maybe the top one. I do have 2 Charisma. And now, Tragic Victory. We can crush your enemies or live with regret. You know what? This Squire is really tempting, and we do have 2 Charisma runes to roll. This would make it 5 that we would need. Let's see. And I don't think we can use a Dark Rune because of the Squire being Radiant. Let's see. Due to my ability, if I fail, I can choose to spend 2 experience, which I have, to reroll. So I'll try my chances. I will lead the Plateau Assault, which is 4 + 5, 3 basic runes +2 for my Charisma. Perfect. We get 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means I now have 3 Charisma. 1, 2, 3. I already have 2 skills at maximum 3, which is great because I'm ready to fight Odium. I gain 1 Radiant Icon, so Odium loses 1 of its power. And I have an ability here. This card doesn't go into your dashboard, so it doesn't count as the limit for 3. It's just something great to have. So now I have 1, 2 Radiant Icons, and when I reveal my destiny, I'll have another one. What do we have here? We can feed the hungry or defend the walls. Let me remind myself what my power is. I'm trying to go for Radiant. What could help us? Night Watcher's Boon wouldn't be bad at all, because next round I would have a +4 in whichever level 3 card I want, but that would completely deplete our experience. Although I have a card that would allow me to get an experience. I could even play this just to get my experience bonus from my motivation. You know what? I'm gonna go for the Night Watcher's Boon. You may only gain this trait if you spend 2 experience or sacrifice an ally. And I really don't want to sacrifice this ally. It would be very helpful. So I'm gonna spend all my experience. Gain the Night Watcher's Boon. It goes here. I'll have +4 in whichever card I try to gain next turn. And I get 1 hero and 1 anti-hero card. A Man's Worth, similar to the card I already played, gives me +1 to an attempt, or +3 if that attempt has an ally. And play this during a challenge, add the Dark Rune to the attempt. This still doesn't allow me to use runes on Radiant Paths. So, I have 3 cards on this column, so level 2 is complete, and we go to level 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have here 1 Radiant Path. I would love to try that, although that is not really my forte. So, the Lost Herald, choose a scythe, Aftermath of Battle. What would we go for? If I tried this, I do have 1 wisdom that I could roll. In addition to this 3. And I have a +4 from the Night Watcher's Boon. Let's see. That would mean I need to take... if I go for the Embrace an Enemy, that would need an 8. I would still need 4 out of these runes, which is almost impossible. Is there something else that I could do here that would help me either get this card? I could get this card, but I don't really want the points, right? I would really like to save this for the Odium battle, also because I only have 1 Radiant icon right now. Tough choices, tough choices. You know what? I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna play another Man's Worth. So I have +1, +4 from the Night Watcher's Boon. That means I need only 3 from these runes. I really hope I get it, otherwise it was a waste of the boon and a Man's Worth. Perfect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, +4 from the Night Watcher's Boon, +1 from the Man's Worth, and I get to Embrace my Enemy. Oh, I forgot to reveal this card. So I reveal Edge Dancer. I should do this at the beginning of phase 3 always. Since I gain a Radiant icon, I can get rid of that. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Radiant icons thanks to my Squire. And if I have 4 Radiant icons once per turn, when you fail a Radiant Path, you may reattempt it. That's really good. So, getting rid of that. So, another Radiant Path, which is actually good for me because it uses the Charisma runes, which I have 3 of them. And this card, once per turn, if you have 4 Radiant icons, which we do, you gain +1 on attempt on a Radiant Path. So this 7 +1, 8. With my Squire, I have 1 automatically. I get to roll 6 runes, and thanks to my Edge Dancer ability, I can reroll. So I'll give it a try. I'll try Unite the Realms, take responsibility. Let's see what we get. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is not enough, and we have cards to play. So this gives me an anti-hero card. Chasm Duty, choose a hero or anti-hero card that another player has played, put it into your hand. Pretty much useless in solo mode, there's no other player. And out of this I need to choose if I want a hero or anti-hero, and I will go with hero. Choose a hero to gain 1 experience. That hero may spend up to 3 to gain icons until radiant icons until the end of the turn. I already have more than enough radiant icons. And because of this, I need to play a card from Odium's deck, the Everstorm. Play this as a hero attempts a challenge. That challenge has +1. Oof. So I have 5, 6, and I needed 8. Now with the Everstorm, I need 9. I could do this as a reaction, or I could just reattempt it thanks to my Edge Dancer ability. Well, that's what I'll do. Try to get better. I believe the Everstorm modifier still applies, so this is still a 9. Alright, I rolled better, but he'll play 2 cards. Oof, that's tough. So now I need to pick my cards. I'll actually take 1 anti-hero card. Play this as any hero is attempting... what's this icon for? Is victory? Triumph. Triumph or Radiant Path. They gain a light, which would be good here, because right now I'm on the dark. And they may reattempt it with +1, not bad, another chance to reattempt, and going up actually removes power from Odium, so not bad at all. And from here I need and from here I either take a hero or anti-hero. I'll take a hero card, play this before a hero attempts a Radiant Pass. If it's your turn, gain +1, if it's another hero's turn, gain +2. I'll keep it for Odium, and now because of this I need to play a card for Odium. Play this as any hero attempts a +1, they gain +1 to the attempt for every darkness they choose to gain, which I probably don't want none. Let's see. I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still not enough, but that does give me the chance to play 1 more tribe, which lets me gain 1 light, which automatically removes the power from here due to the Radiant Unite text. I can retry with a +1. A long fight, but I hope it will be worth it. So I have the +1 from 1-man try, the +1 from Squire, and basically a -1 from the Everstorm. I think the third term is the charm, and with no negative impact. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, +1 from 1 more try, +1 from Squire, 10. The power from Unite the Realms, Take Responsibility 7, 8, and the Everstorm 9, so I did get that. Despite having to spend a lot of cards, that was very good for me, because with 1 card I was able to go twice, due to up twice, because I used 1 more try, gave me 1 light, removed 1 power. Now Take Responsibility, another Radiant icon, so it means I can take another power from there. And now we go to what we hope it's our last card. So there's no more Radiant icons to be gained. I could spend 1 experience to journey. I would have to use a card for that. Let's see. I might play this card to get more Radiant icons, just because then I get this power. Let's see. Yeah, let's try it. I'll play the Stormlight card. Choose any hero to gain 1 experience. They may spend it to gain Radiant icons, which I don't want. And now I will journey. Journey just means you can do this once per turn. You discard 1 experience, you pick any card from here, and you throw it away and get a new one. And I will throw away the Fallen from Grace. Perfect. This is a trait, Radiant. You may only gain this trait if you have 2 Divinity, 2 Justice, or 2 Radiant. I have more than enough Radiant symbols. This is great for me because it gives me a hero card. Brave the Stand. Play this before a hero attempts a challenge. Add +1 to the attempt, or if the hero has at least 3, we have. Add +2. This will be great for the fight with Odium. And it gives me another Radiant icon, which means Odium actually loses his last power. Very good for me. And it gives me a Constitution rune, which I will not be using. So, we are done with phase 3. Beginning of my next turn, we get Odium. So, he gets 9 plus 1 if I was in the darkness, but thanks to the one more try I was able to go up, and I am not. So now what I need to do is beat 9. I get to use the default runes, and I get to pick 2 skills, the 2 that I'm best at. I will pick Charisma because I have 1, 2, 3. And I will pick Intelligence because, once again, 1, 2, 3. That's the most runes I could get. And now comes the time to play my cards. So, this card played this as... This can actually be played as a reaction, so... I will wait because some cards can cancel my Radiant icons and I don't want to do that. Play this card before any hero attempts a Radiant path. I get +1 because it's my turn. Then I'll play this card before any hero attempts a challenge, add +1, or if the hero, myself, has 3 Radiant icons, +2, so +2, have +1, +2. I already have 3 automatically. I will wait to play the next ideal, and I'll just roll against Odium. So, let's see what we have. Not a lot of successes. But thanks to my Edge Dancer ability, I can retry, because if you fail this challenge, you immediately lose the game. But actually I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's even enough right now. And now we come to the cards phase. Because of these 2, I'll take a hero and an anti-hero card. Act of Wrath. Play this before any hero attempts a challenge. They may not choose Triumph or Radiant Pass. If it's your turn, gain +2 to your next attempt. Not useful for me. The next ideal, a great card for me. I have 2 of these, which would mean I would get up to 8. Really good. Now with this, I get another card. I'll take a Light Path one. It gives me more Radiant icons. Let's keep it that way. But now, this symbol means I play a card from Odium's deck. Let's see if it's not terrible. Okay, +1 to the challenge. So this challenge just became a 10, and we had seen before that this is 1, 2, 3, and then here I have 6, so I have 9 versus 10, but thanks to the help of the next ideal, I get +1 for each Radiant icon. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the Squire gives me +1. You can see the ability here. So I wouldn't even need to play this card, but let's just play it for the heck of it. I have 14 versus his 10. I beat Odium. If he still had tokens, I would remove excess for each number above his target. So he was a 10 and I had 14. I could remove up to 4, but I managed to do that throughout the game and I beat him. I have to say that was a very lucky game for myself. I have had trouble in the past beating Odium. Sometimes you get unlucky with the runes. They don't play to your favor. In this case, I was quite lucky. I got a lot of Radiant icons. This is also the intro scenario, so you can make it harder, and there are scenarios that are way harder. But I managed to save Rashar. I'm really happy with that. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.